If you built React apps a few years ago, you remember the ritual. Before you could write a single line of application logic, you had to manually wire up a bundler, configure a transpiler, and stitch together a third-party routing library just to get a blank page to load. Next.js 16 with the app router eliminates that entire process. It handles the rendering, the routing, and the build tools out of the box. So we're going to do a speed run. We're going from a completely blank terminal to a live production-ready local server in under 5 minutes. Because your time is limited, every hour you spend wrestling with boilerplate build configurations is an hour you aren't spending building the actual features your users need. To start the clock, you only need 2 things installed on your machine: a modern web browser and Node.js version 20.9 or higher. Our primary installation command, npx create next app at latest my app with the -- yes flag, accepts the optimal stack: TypeScript, Tailwind, ESLint, App Router, and TurboPack. It also generates agents.md, an instruction manual teaching AI assistants to write modern Next.js code. By letting the CLI handle these defaults, you compress what used to be hours of version matching and dependency installation into a single keystroke. In this isometric view of the project folder, the architecture revolves around the highlighted app directory, the framework's central nervous system. Inside is layout.tsx, the mandatory structural skeleton containing your foundational HTML and body tags. Next.js actually has a built-in failsafe for this. If you accidentally delete or forget to create your root layout, the development server will automatically regenerate it the next time you boot it up. Next is page.tsx, containing your visible UI. Dropping this file in the app directory maps it to the home page URL. Outside, the public folder stores static assets. Files like profile.png are referenced directly from your base URL. The physical placement and naming of your files directly dictate the URL architecture of the live website. You never have to touch a separate routing configuration file again. As your project grows, you eventually hit the headache of deeply nested, messy relative import paths, typing out .. just to reach a component. This comparison chart shows how we fix that using absolute imports. By configuring module path aliases in your tsconfig.json file, that complex string collapses into a clean absolute import starting with an @ symbol. You can also enable the custom Next.js TypeScript plugin in VS Code. This provides the IDE with the specific framework context needed to handle advanced type checking and auto-completion. With the setup done, running npm run dev spins up the local server. And in Next.js 16, this command defaults to using TurboPack, their ultra-fast bundler, to compile your code almost instantly. There is one critical change in version 16 to watch out for. Next build no longer runs linting automatically. You now have to manually execute your ESLint or biome scripts before pushing to production. By establishing these routing rules and path aliases up front, your codebase remains strictly typed and navigable, even as you begin to add more complex features. Open your browser and visit localhost 3000. The default Next.js starter interface will appear on your screen, stopping the clock. In just a few minutes, you've successfully deployed a complete routing system, an automated compiler, a linting environment, and a full UI framework entirely in the background. With the foundation laid, the immediate next challenge is learning how to fetch and render actual data by understanding the difference between server and client components. Next.js automates the complex infrastructure that usually stops a project before it begins. With the local environment ready, the focus shifts entirely to the application itself.